In Port Charles, the truth isn't just dangerous anymore, it's explosive, and tonight, one wrong move could destroy everything Sonny Corinthos has built. Because while Sonny is preparing for war, someone else is already 10 steps ahead. And this time, the enemy isn't just targeting his power, he's targeting his family, his allies, and every secret buried beneath the surface. Sidwell isn't playing games anymore, he's about to burn everything down, and Sonny, he just made the riskiest move of his life. But the real question is, did Sonny just save himself? Or sign his own downfall? Because what he's about to propose to Laura Collins could either expose Sidwell or hand him complete control of Port Charles. And the clock is ticking. Sonny Corinthos stood still for a moment longer than usual. That alone was enough to signal something was wrong, because Sonny never hesitates. Not when it comes to power, not when it comes to protecting what's his. But this situation? This was different. Sidwell had outmaneuvered him, not with brute force, not with intimidation, but with something far more dangerous. Control. The setup was flawless. Dalton's supposed murder, the disappearance of his body, the carefully crafted illusion that Sonny and Mayor Laura Collins were involved. Sidwell didn't need proof. He just needed doubt. And doubt was enough to take everything: Sonny's waterfront property, Laura's authority as mayor, their reputations, all of it, slowly slipping into Sidwell's hands. And Sonny knew something else too. This wasn't just leverage. This was war, a calculated, patient war designed to strip him down piece by piece. And now, Sonny had finally decided to strike back. But not with violence. Not yet. This time, he was going to play Sidwell's game. And that meant taking a risk so bold. Even Sonny wasn't sure it would work. Laura Collins listened carefully. Every word Sonny spoke carried weight, and every suggestion came with consequences. Because what Sonny was proposing, it wasn't just dangerous. It was political suicide. "You want me to do what?" Laura asked quietly. Her voice didn't rise. But the tension in the room did. Sonny didn't flinch. Instead, he leaned forward slightly, focused, controlled. "Sidwell only wins if we keep reacting," Sonny said. "We need to force him to move." Laura narrowed her eyes. "And how exactly do you suggest we do that?" That's when Sonny said it. And the silence that followed said everything, because Sonny wasn't just suggesting a counterattack, he was suggesting a move that would shake the entire foundation of Port Charles, a move that would expose hidden truths, but also risk exposing their own. And Laura knew, once they did this, there would be no going back. Meanwhile, across town, another truth was quietly unraveling. One that could be even more dangerous. Because the man everyone believed was Nathan, wasn't Nathan at all. He was Cassius Faison, and he wasn't just hiding, he was thriving, embedded deep within Port Charles, living a life that wasn't his. Playing roles that weren't his to play. A father figure to James, a partner to Lulu, a trusted officer within the PCPD, and the scariest part, no one suspected a thing, except Sidwell, and that changed everything. Because Sidwell didn't just have leverage over Sonny, he had secrets. Big ones, the kind that could tear lives apart, the kind that could destroy identities. And now, Cassius was about to receive new information that could either secure his position or completely expose him, and if that happened, it wouldn't just be his life that imploded. It would be Lulu's, James's, and possibly Dante's too. Speaking of Dante, he had no idea just how close he was to the truth. But something felt off. Not obvious. Not enough to accuse anyone, but enough to linger in the back of his mind, especially when it came to Lulu. Because lately, Lulu had changed. Subtle shifts, quiet distractions, moments where she seemed distant, even when she was right in front of him. And Dante noticed. Of course he did. He always notices. But what he didn't know was that Lulu was carrying a secret so heavy, it was starting to crack her from the inside. Their son, Rocco, pulled the trigger. Rocco shot Cullum, and Lulu knew. She knew everything, every detail, every consequence, every terrifying possibility that could follow, and she made a choice: protect her son, at any cost. Even if that meant lying, even if that meant digging into something far bigger than she was prepared for, because Cullum's death, it wasn't just an accident. It was connected to Marco, to Sidwell, to everything happening right now, and Lulu was determined to find out why. She had her notes spread out in front of her, photos, connections, timelines. It looked like a reporter's workspace. But this wasn't just a story, this was survival, because if she didn't uncover the truth, someone else would. And when that happened, Rocco would be in danger, real danger, but just as she thought she was getting closer, everything stopped. A dead end. A missing piece. A roadblock she didn't see coming, and it shook her, because for the first time, Lulu realized something terrifying. She might not be in control, and whoever was blocking her was watching. Elsewhere, Lucas sat alone. Grief doesn't always look loud. Sometimes, it's quiet. Still, heavy, and Lucas was carrying all of it. Marco was gone, just like that. And nothing made sense. Not the way he died. Not the events leading up to it. Not the fact that Lucas himself was still alive. Because if Sidwell was as ruthless as everyone believed, why spare Lucas? Why let him walk free when everyone else was caught in the crossfire? The answer was worse than Lucas imagined. Because somewhere, deep down, Lucas knew Sidwell didn't spare him out of kindness. He spared him because he knew about Marco, about the meds, about the desperate choices Marco made and why he made them, for Lucas. And that knowledge was power, and Lucas was now a liability. At the same time, Rick Lansing found himself in unfamiliar territory. Peace. For once, things weren't falling apart. His relationship with his daughter was stronger than ever, his connection with Elizabeth. Slow, careful, but real, and even his relationship with Sonny was evolving. Brothers, not enemies. Working together, building something solid. Something stable, but Rick knew better than to trust stability in Port Charles. Because peace never lasts. And when he offered reassurance, it wasn't just comfort, it was preparation, because something was coming, and Rick could feel it. And then there was Elizabeth, caught between two worlds. Rick and Dante. One offering something new, something steady, something hopeful, the other, a connection that never really went away, and now, fate kept pushing them together. Unexpected meetings, unfinished conversations, moments that felt too important to ignore. And when Elizabeth received news, it didn't just affect her, it rippled outward, straight toward Dante, and whatever she was about to reveal was going to change everything. Back at Sonny's, the tension hadn't eased, not even slightly, because Laura hadn't answered yet. And Sonny was waiting, not impatient, but focused, because he knew this decision wasn't just about strategy, it was about trust and risk, and whether Laura was willing to go as far as he was. Finally, she spoke. But her answer wasn't what Sonny expected. And in that moment, everything shifted. Because while Sonny was trying to outmaneuver Sidwell, Sidwell was already making his next move. A move that would affect Lucas. A move that would tighten his grip. A move that would prove this game was far from over. And somewhere in Port Charles, a truth was getting closer to the surface. A truth about Cassius, about Rocco, about Marco, about everything, and when it finally comes out, no one will be safe, because secrets don't stay buried in Port Charles, they explode. And when they do, they take everything with them. Laura didn't answer right away. And that silence, it was louder than anything Sonny had said. Because this wasn't just about strategy anymore, this was about crossing a line that Laura Collins had spent her entire career trying not to cross. But Sonny, he had already stepped over it. And now, he was asking her to follow. Laura slowly stood up. Not in anger, not in fear, but in realization. "You're asking me to risk everything," she said, her voice calm, but tight. Sonny didn't deny it. "Sidwell already has everything," Sonny replied quietly. This is how we take it back. Laura turned away for a moment, her mind racing, because Sonny was right about one thing. Sidwell wasn't bluffing anymore. He had power, real power, the kind that could destroy careers, reputations, lives, and if they kept playing defense, they would lose. But Sonny's plan, it wasn't defense, it was exposure, a controlled explosion designed to force Sidwell into the open, but that kind of move always comes with collateral damage. What happens if this backfires? Laura asked. Sonny didn't hesitate. It will. That answer alone should have been enough to shut it down, but it didn't. Because for the first time, Laura realized something terrifying. Doing nothing was even more dangerous. And just like that, the balance of power in Port Charles began to shift. Meanwhile, Cassius Faison stood alone, staring at his phone. The message had just come in, short, direct, chilling, and it only had one meaning. Sidwell was watching. Every move, every interaction, every lie, and now, Sidwell wanted something. Information, loyalty, or maybe, proof. Proof that Cassius was exactly who Sidwell believed him to be. Not Nathan, not a hero, but a Faison. And Cassius knew something else too. Sidwell wasn't asking, he was testing, and failing that test wasn't an option. But here's the problem. Cassius wasn't just playing a role anymore, he was living it. James trusted him, Lulu trusted him, even the PCPD trusted him, and for a moment, he almost forgot who he really was. But Sidwell, he didn't forget. And now, Cassius had to make a choice, stay hidden or step deeper into the darkness. Across town, Lulu felt it. That sinking feeling in her chest. The kind that tells you something is wrong before you even know what it is. Her investigation had hit a wall, a complete stop. Records missing, sources suddenly silent, leads disappearing. It didn't make sense. Until it did. Because this wasn't random, this was intentional. Someone was shutting her down, and that meant one thing. She was getting close. Too close. Lulu grabbed her notes again, scanning everything, trying to find what she missed. But the truth was right in front of her. Cullum, Marco, Sidwell, and now, Rocco, her son, caught in the middle of something far bigger than she ever imagined. And if she didn't figure it out soon, Rocco wouldn't just be at risk, he would be exposed. Meanwhile, Dante wasn't just suspicious anymore, now he was concerned. Because Lulu wasn't just distant. She was hiding something, and Dante knew that look. He had seen it before, in suspects, in witnesses, in people trying to protect something, or someone. Lulu, he said softly, but she didn't answer right away, and that hesitation confirmed everything. Dante stepped closer. What's going on? And for a split second, Lulu almost told him everything about Rocco, about Cullum, about the truth she's been carrying alone. But then, she stopped. Because once she said it out loud, there would be no taking it back. I'm just working on something, Lulu said quickly, too quickly, and Dante noticed. Of course he did. But instead of pushing, he stepped back. Because deep down, he already knew, whatever Lulu was hiding, was big. And when it came out, it would change everything. Elsewhere, Lucas's world shifted in an instant. Because Sidwell didn't send a message. He showed up, unannounced, uninvited, and completely in control. Lucas froze. Because this wasn't coincidence, this was intentional. Sidwell walked in like he owned the room, like he owned everything, including Lucas. I'm sorry for your loss, Sidwell said calmly, and somehow, that made it worse. Because there was no emotion behind it, no sympathy, just calculation, Lucas tried to stay composed, tried to keep his voice steady. But inside, everything was breaking. What do you want? Lucas asked. Sidwell smiled slightly, not warm, not friendly, dangerous. I want to understand, Sidwell replied. Why my son made the choices he did. And just like that, the truth hit Lucas like a wave. Sidwell knew about Marco, about the meds, about everything. Lucas's breath caught. Because now, this wasn't just grief. This was leverage. And Sidwell was about to use it. You see, Sidwell continued slowly, people don't take risks like that, unless they have a reason. His eyes locked onto Lucas. And I think, you were that reason. Silence. Heavy, unavoidable, and Lucas couldn't deny it.